Every single day, millions of people board an airplane. They sit down, fasten their seatbelt, maybe look out of the window, and a few minutes later, they're flying. But have you ever stopped and wondered, how is that even possible? This airplane weighs almost 80 tons. That's about the same as 50 family cars. So how does something that heavy leave the ground? Is it the engines? Or the wings? Or is something much more interesting happening? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes an airplane fly.
Hi, I'm Piet, I'm a Boeing 737 captain and welcome to Friday Flight School. Here we'll explore the fascinating world of aviation, one topic at a time. Whether you're an aviation enthusiast, a student pilot or just curious about how aviation works, this is the place for you. So let's get started!
So why doesn't it fly already? Take a look at this Boeing 737. It has 2 engines, 2 wings, thousands of liters of fuel, everything it needs to fly. Or does it? Imagine we park this airplane on the runway. We wait 5 minutes, an hour, a whole day. Will it suddenly take off? Of course not. Nothing happens. And that's our first clue. An airplane doesn't fly simply because it has wings. Something is missing. Airflow. Without air moving over the wings, there is no lift. And without lift, this airplane is nothing more than a very heavy vehicle with wings attached. So what do the engines actually do? This is where many people get it wrong. If I asked 10 people what makes an airplane fly, most would probably answer the engines. That's understandable. After all, they're loud, they're powerful, and they burn enormous amounts of fuel. But here's the surprising part. Jet engines never lift the airplane. Their job is actually much simpler. They push the airplane forward, and that's it. Think about pushing a shopping trolley. The harder you push, the faster it rolls. But no matter how hard you push, it's never going to fly. Exactly the same thing happens with an airplane. The engines only create forward speed. But that forward speed creates something incredibly important: airflow. And that's what the wings have been waiting for. So why is airflow so important? Imagine sticking your hand out of the window of a moving car. At low speed, you barely feel anything. But as the speed increases, you can really feel the air pushing against your hand. The wing experiences exactly the same thing. The faster the airplane moves, the more air flows around the wing. And that airflow is the raw material the wing needs to do its job. No airflow, no lift. And that's why, during takeoff, pilots aren't looking at the ground speed, they're looking at the airspeed. Because the wing only cares about one thing: how fast is the air moving past me? So what does the wing actually do? Now let's zoom in. At first glance, a wing doesn't look particularly special. But its shape has been refined over more than a century of aviation. As the airplane moves forward, air has to flow around the wing. Some goes over the top, some underneath. And the wing bends that airflow downward. Now here's the clever bit. Whenever you push something in one direction, it pushes back. The wing pushes air down. The air pushes the wing up. That's lift. Lift isn't something you can see, but you can definitely see its effect. Without lift, every landing would simply become a very expensive drive down the runway. Now the moment every pilot is waiting for. As a captain, there's one number I'm constantly watching during takeoff: the airspeed. Below a certain speed, I know this airplane simply isn't ready to fly yet. Then we reach rotation speed. I gently pull back on the control column, nothing dramatic, just a few degrees, and suddenly the airplane leaves the ground. Did the engine suddenly become stronger? No. Did gravity become weaker? No. The only thing that changed was that the wings were finally producing enough lift. That's why every takeoff feels almost effortless. Not because the airplane became lighter, but because the airflow became strong enough. Everything we talked about so far can actually be reduced to just four forces. Lift tries to pull the airplane up, weight pulls it down, thrust pushes it forward, and drag tries to slow it down. That's it. Every airplane, every helicopter, every glider, every fighter jet, they're all balancing these same four forces. When lift equals weight and thrust equals drag, the airplane flies straight and level. If I add thrust, the airplane accelerates. If I increase lift, the airplane climbs. Flying is really nothing more than constantly balancing those four forces. So, what makes an airplane fly? It's not the engines, at least not directly. The engines create thrust, thrust creates airflow, the wing turns that airflow into lift, and once lift becomes greater than the airplane's weight, the airplane flies. Everything else in aviation starts with those four simple forces. But that raises another question. If the engines don't actually lift the airplane, how do they create so much thrust in the first place? And that's exactly what we'll discover in the next Friday Flight School. If you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe here so you don't miss it. Want to see these principles in real life? Watch one of my cockpit videos over here. Or check out my latest upload over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Friday Flight School.